I'm here with William Evertson, and we are going to talk about how this social distancing measure affects our practice. Hello, Bill.
Well,
Should we start over?
you're in Belgium, and I'm here in Connecticut in the USA. Well, I do have a Belgian flag here, flying proudly here. It's part of the Belgian embassy at Rogers Lake. But certainly we've got a lot of disruption going on for artists everywhere because a lot of our practices depend on either collaborations, exhibiting. So we go to openings. Um, Summertime is a big time for residencies, and I know last year you were in Brooklyn for quite a while and did a long residency there before you came here to Connecticut and spent time painting here in the studio. So
It was 2 years ago, summer 2018. I came to Brooklyn for 3 months. But I did apply for residencies. I was declined, but imagine if I was accepted, that would be cancelled. So
I know last year we had worked on a collaboration. Was a artist book collaboration that we had worked on in our separate countries, and when you were here visiting, we were able to assemble it. It was later shown up in Boston at the public libraries this past winter. It's a book on some Zen poetry that we had collaborated on. So that was like we've done this distance collaborating in the past, and apparently we're going to be forced during this lockdown, no fly time, to do more of this distance distance collaborating.
mhm,
But it's nothing new. It's just
yeah,
unfortunate. It's annoying, and it's sad that we're so unprepared as a civilization that we can't really deal with these types of things better than we can. Um, but in the meantime, we're going to get on and talk about our what we're doing in our art studios. I know from just seeing and Instagram accounts and Facebook and such that you've been working on some paintings. Can you? Why don't you tell me about your paintings?
well, I've started this new series of works on women's bodies, really, and how they were approached in art or how they are approached in art and in science. And I'm basing this on the anatomy lesson, the syllabus of a Flemish anatomist called Andreas Vesalius. There's a Vesalius Institute here, connected at the KU Leuven, the university. And there's been plenty of paintings depicting the anatomy lessons. I've got this book I found in a thrift store where you have all these images of anatomy lessons. And maybe it's a bit morbid, but I like the style of painting, and I wanted to do something that focuses specifically on women's bodies. Also because apparently in Vesalius' syllabus, some of the female reproductive organs, or tiny little features of it, are given the same name as the male ones. So they didn't get, it's not a gendered approach there. And so I started to do, I don't think you can see that, but the syllabus of Vesalius, let me see if I can turn, all the way to the left there, there's this little page, which is a title page of Vesalius syllabus. And I'm trying to reinterpret and trying to make paintings that allude to that or that are inspired by all those images that are in the salons, but focusing on women's bodies. There are several beautiful etchings, actually, that I may want to use also for the next painting, like this one. It's made. It's from a later anatomist, actually, but it's all in the same, same. Shall I say? I'll be able to put it into the same theme, so to speak, of anatomy of female bodies. And I was planning to do a grisaille with this monochrome painting to continue working on this series. I'm working now on my last panel, as you know, Bill, that one. And I've started to work on the figure because I have no idea whatsoever what to do with the background yet. So the trick might be to put it next to the others in its place, where, over there on that wall, as a triptych, and maybe that will tell me, okay, you got to do this one. And going back to this project that I'm working on, I also completed, a whole series of 9 painterly prints that are on the easel in the back, 2 of them. I did make one small clay sculpture. I haven't done anything else with yet, but I would like to make a large one, or maybe a whole series of them.
I like that. I like that.
So the goal is to have a whole, a whole body of work around this theme. And then I would really like to find a venue that wants to show it, really.
Well, I do find it interesting that it's not just a painting or triptych, that it does have these accessory tangents, the sculpture, the mono printing that goes with it, and it kind of informs and expands on your theme of the anatomist.
Yeah. And with some of them, of course, like split-offs or spin-offs, I'm submitting the prints to a print show that will go online as well, because they can't do a physical show. Mm-hmm. And stuff like that I will be doing with the pieces, of course. But in the end, when the whole body of work is going to its completion, the plan is, or it would be great if I could show it somewhere.
I know it's going to be difficult, because part of our whole practice is seeing these in real life, not just online. We don't get a true sense of the texture, the brushwork, any sheen or matte finish, or there's just a lot of nuance that doesn't come through online. But that's what we're facing right now. I think there's going to be a lot of online exhibits, especially this summer. So I'll have to make.
Are you going to submit to one of those? I thought you were, right? An exhibit that's also going online because of these measures.
Well, yeah, I am submitting also to the IPC New York printmaking. They did already mention
about also,
that their summer exhibit is going to be an online thing. Although that's a juried show, so who knows whether my pieces would even be online. But they did have the wherewithal to decide in advance that they're not even going to try to do anything this summer. And I think a lot of venues will probably come to that realization that they just can't do a physical exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of my pieces that I'm working on in the background here is this large woodcut that I'm working on was going to be printed at a printing event on a very large press down at the Center for Contemporary Printmaking. It was going to be April 18th, but obviously that venue is closed down for the foreseeable future. They've sent out notices, as well as the organizers of this particular event, although I'm carving away as if I still had a deadline. Might as well, every day in the studio, just something to keep busy on. So that's one of my current pieces that I'm working on. Just before that, though, I was thinking back to mid-February when I first started hearing more and more about the virus, and I started carving a woodblock. This piece here was the result. It's called Rota Fortunae, or Wheel of Fortune. And I was thinking at the time, I was hearing out of China all this, the talk about the pandemic that was going on there, and the worries from the World Health Organization that this was going to spread, and it certainly has.
Mm-hmm. So this particular piece, did you use, are you reintegrating old images in your new block prints?
I am. This the wheel idea came from an older photograph that I had.
Because that's you, right? It's a portrait of you, isn't
It
it?
is. This is me.
Artist as a young man.
As a young man holding
Yes.
younger,
Okay.
younger man. Yes, holding this wheel structure. And a long time ago, I did it like a digital piece. It was a little bit
Oh
more
yeah, yeah.
with this. This is a little bit more literal, but the thing that kind of inspired me to like revisit this image was just the idea of wheel of fortune, or certain misfortune may suddenly cut a swath through a large segment of the population. There's really no rhyme or reason. You think you're maybe taking precautions, but maybe you're not. There's just too many variables to be able to protect yourself 100%. Same with just going out every day. And I was going to ask you about that too, about what it's like going outside today in Belgium. I mean, obviously we're not actually quarantined here, but it's recommended that we limit our interactions to family members. We stay inside as much as possible. Well, what happens in Belgium right now?
In Belgium, we're in a lockdown. They don't call it that, but it's practically a lockdown. They call it a semi-lockdown sometimes. I don't know why, because we can't go out unless we have to go get groceries. So for the essential stuff, we can go out, go to the chemist or to the doctor or stuff like that. We can go out and go for hikes or for bike rides or to jog, if we can do that, if we do that on our own, or if we can take a friend with us, so we can go in pairs. If it's always the same friend we see, if it's always the same friend we go jog with, then that's okay. Or of course families can go out together. That's okay too. Yeah, I think that's basically the repercussions of the lockdown for us Belgians. Yeah. How's it at your end?
I think very similar here. It's state by state here in the U.S. As to the extent of this shutdown, lockdown, what's considered essential and what's not. So it's a kind of a a crazy quilt or a patchwork
Mm.
of regulations depending on which state you're from. Right here in Connecticut, it's not a mandatory thing. Nobody's going to stop you from going out, but it's recommended that we spend. It was 2 weeks. I'm not sure exactly. I think now they've extended it again to remain indoors unless you're out for an essential activity such as shopping or as you say, to a pharmacy to get medicine. You can get
People
gas.
can, people can go to work here. That is, of course, if they, if they're doing an essential, very much needed job in this lockdown, but also if in a company, for instance, you can go to work, it's advised to do teleworking. Or if it's possible that in the company you can do the social distancing, if you can sit apart from your co-workers, then that's okay too. It's advised to go to work. But if you can't, then the company has to close. So we also have these particular measures in support already of what will happen when the economy falls back, etc. I noticed also when I look at this video that I tend to touch my face with my hands, and that's something we shouldn't do. Of course, also washing our hands regularly is something that.
Yeah, that's advised, which is good because it's. I mean, here we haven't seen any hand sanitizer or anything like that in stores or pharmacies for weeks.
Yeah.
It's just suddenly overnight, all that was gone.
Yes.
The shelves on the supermarket are getting a little bare with some items, but
Yes.
other things. I mean, there's still plenty of groceries to buy at this point. Don't feel like I'm deprived with anything except it would be nice to be able to get more cleaning supplies, because they do recommend disinfecting surfaces and such when you're out. Although I was very joyful this morning. I was kind of picking up for my background here, and I did find a jar of rubbing alcohol. And I thought, oh, well, good. I could make some more hand sanitizer out of my rubbing alcohol, and I have some aloe, so I mixed the two together and can make a little bit for when we're out and about food shopping or something. It's nice to have like a little bit of that. So maybe I was like overjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my son, look what I found, this half a jar of rubbing alcohol. It was like finding a little bit of gold or something.
Yeah. Are they holding toilet paper at your end?
Well, yes.
I don't understand this
We have
phenomenon.
broken of toilet paper, and my census of toilet paper is we're down to about 18 rolls. There's two of the household. So, and there's none on the shelves. There hasn't been any on the shelves. I don't know where it's all going. I was able to snag a little bit a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I just kind of found it by accident. This was like even before people started hoarding paper towels and such. But there was a couple of rolls of 18 or something mixed into the paper towels that apparently somebody had overlooked, and
Oh yeah.
I was able to get those. So we're just.
I picked up the package as soon as I saw one available in the house.
But our strategic supply of
Is good. My strategic supply is very good. I'm into, let's say, 24 rolls or something all over the house. What's yours? I'm alone.
yes, well, we have 18 for two of us, so we're good for a while.
Okay. That's reassuring. All
Well,
right.
I do like this Zoom studio visits. It's nice to catch up,
Mhm. We
see
can,
what's going on, just more than like a picture on Instagram or something. But this is a good way
right.
to do it.
Yeah. And we can go even into more detail later.
I think we should meet up in a few more days, and there's a little bit more progress on our pieces, and see what's up. But I just one thing I think about while I'm an artist at home, a lot of times my art practice is being alone here at home, carving my wood blocks, and you know, I feel a lot different about poor people that they're used to going out in the world and doing their business, and now they kind of feel stuck at home. So, um,
Mm.
and there's some essential people out there: the nurses, the doctors. We have delivery people. We have grocery clerks. They're essential to keep everything running and supplied and tending to the sick. And I'm just
They're in the front lines. We should
feel,
make it a habit of
yeah,
saying thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
very, very
How
much.
much we appreciate them being out. Mhm.
All right. Well, for now, I guess we'll say goodbye and see you in a few days again. We'll check in and we'll chat again.
Okay, we'll talk later.
All right. Talk later.